XRP likely to be selected by Russia for cross-border payments. Pretty interesting headline coming out today. And I'll tell you, it's always really interesting for me to see research that I found all the way back in 2020 or 2021 repurposed in 2025 like it's some amazing piece of adoption news that guarantees XRP X, Y, and Z. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, such low hanging fruit. And I think, for the XRP community just to be cognizant of like what they're getting into whenever they're seeing stuff that is breaking news about XRP in 2025. I mean, literally, this document is a 2019 document that I found in 2021. You can see the tweet right in front of your face. And one thing that I would issue caution about is, number one, it doesn't say that Russia is going to use or is likely to pick XRP for cross-border payments, especially given the context of it being a half a decade old document. And its sources from an X tweet. It sources from an X tweet, obviously, as well, which is like, okay, that's not a source at all. The source is the actual document itself. So even when I found it in 2021, I'm not the source. The source is the actual document. Read what the actual document says and put into context what has happened in the past half of a decade since the document came out. This essentially says the technology that Ripple has built, the system that Ripple has built, can be looked at as a basis for starting to architect a platform for Russia from the payment system standpoint. Do you know how much stuff has happened since 2018 when this testing occurred? A lot of stuff. Stable coins all over the place. This is even before CBDCs were, a mass discussion. And now we know CBDCs have even taken a backseat to stable coins. And stable coins are even taking a backseat to kind of bank deposits. Gosh. You can I don't know. And I wish they would have repurposed some news that I would have, some of this other stuff I found in 2025 and put some conspiracy, spin around that. That would be really cool. This was a cool document too. It essentially ties in Ripple nodes into this D3 system that ties in the National Securities Depository of Russia and Swiss regulated financial markets and all this stuff. Hey, low hanging fruit, guys. Do an article in 2025, almost 2026 about this. It's super relevant today. Anyways, top crypto leaders meeting with Senate Democrats as market structure talks stall. So you can see on here, you essentially are going to have, hopefully Coinbase, Chainlink, Ripple, Uniswap, others expected to attend to ramp up some of these discussions, again, about regulating the digital asset space. Interestingly enough, we have the Federal Reserve hosting a conference on payments innovation, bringing together leading industry experts to share perspectives. And huge shout out to Chainlink. These guys are here again. Sergey Nazarov alongside Fireblocks, alongside Jennifer Barker from BNY Mellon. We know BNY all over the place in crypto and digital assets. Certainly the custodian of Ripple USD. I saw somebody post, I don't know. I'm not going to be on my soapbox too long about the XRP stuff. I'm super bullish on XRP. Like, I'm still hold my XRP. I still try to talk about XRP and do news on XRP and find deep divey content on XRP. But I'm very tired of like the low hanging fruit. I'm going to put out a post with some crazy claim just because I'm going to get 500 or 1,000 likes on it without doing any work or any research. Like somebody yesterday commented saying, the XRP price is going to be set at a much higher level. It has to be stable to be able to facilitate the liquidity needed to bridge the world's, value. And I'm thinking in my head, it's amazing to me that this narrative is still going on because, like, why would they set the XRP price to something stable when Ripple literally issued a stable coin where the price is already set to something stable? Let alone like these kind of valuations where people are like, hey, XRP is going to be $1,500 a coin, which is great, to hear for somebody that might have $50 or $100 invested. But when you tell me XRP is going to essentially be 30 or 40% more than the global GDP valuation, it's like, where are you getting this from? Anyways, Federal Reserve, huge, talking about tokenization, Payments Innovation Conference. And, this is kind of in alignment with what we've seen here, where you have the convergence of artificial intelligence and payments tech. I want to get into this Bank of England speech because I found this interesting. This is not just token gestures. This should be kind of all you need to know about how big the crypto space is going to be. This isn't I apologize. This isn't a 6-year-old speech. Since we're trying to get into breaking news here, this is published on October 15th. So a handful of days ago. And essentially what she's talking about here is how the UK is turning tokenization into law. And she goes in depth on a multi-money system. So central bank money alongside tokenized bank deposits, alongside regulated stablecoins, all one-to-one at par here. 15 institutions, a lot of these should ring a bell, including Euroclear, HSBC, JP Morgan, etc., in this digital securities sandbox. Stablecoin issuers being able to open accounts at the Bank of England and operate safely just as central bank cash operates. And essentially the UK building synchronization technology, leveraging blockchain distributed ledger so that settlements can clear in real time. And we do know the renewed real-time gross settlement system in the UK is not built on crypto or blockchain or DLT, but it can certainly interoperate with it. And they've been talking about that for years. The UK, one of the first major economies giving stablecoins a home right inside of the banking system, creating trust and a standard for global adoption. This framework lines up perfectly with what André Casterman talked about here. And I mentioned André a week ago because he's in my brain recently. I've been trying to get him on for an interview again. André is an advisor to XDC Network. He is an executive, or was an executive, at Swift for a decade and a half. And, leading innovation, supply chain, and trade finance initiatives at Swift. But he essentially is saying here, similar to what we've said for a long time, that tokenization represents an upgrade to the internet itself. It evolves from the internet of information to the internet of value. You can see his chart here as well. Web 2, internet of information. Web 3, internet of value. And his key idea here is that tokenization is going to turn paper-based finance into programmable software via kind of these 4 steps. One would be digital identification, verified parties on chain. Now, I think when a lot of people hear digital ID, they're like, no, that's not for me. That's super scary, which, hey, if it's not done right, you're certainly not wrong. However, digital ID isn't just about you and I. It's about assets. It's about things as well. You need to be able to identify all things that are represented on chain if you're going to bring them on chain. It's kind of the base layer of what needs to happen before things get tokenized. And then essentially digital ID needs to be in place that in a way that is kind of agnostic and can interoperate across these networks too. So that, we talk about payments and settlements and liquidity pathfinding. The same thing is going to happen for digital assets that have been tokenized, real world assets that have been tokenized. Digital IDs is 1, digital documentation is 2. So he's talking about MLeader, model law for electronic transfer records, I think that is, trade trust, and then regulatory tech. He's talking about instant settlement, and then he's talking about tokenized credit and funds. Now, interesting, he's talking about tokenized credit and funds because I found, and I'm going to rush through these because there's a lot here. I found this Visa document as well, and this is brand new also. Tokenized traditional assets to unlock collateral pools. Visa's telling you kind of some of the future that's going to happen beyond stablecoin payments, on-chain lending opportunities, borrowing. And right now, essentially, total tokenized assets projected by 2030 of between $1 and $4 trillion. Now, Visa's giving you a stat here. The market has grown from $5 billion in December 2023 to $12.7 billion today. Now, their number is low today. It's really about 30 or 40 billion. And I'll go even back further than Visa here because they're saying $5 billion in December 2023. Go a couple of years back to 2021. There was like $200 million of real world assets tokenized. So you go from 200 million of all the assets out in the world coming on crypto to 5 billion a couple of years later to 30 or 40 billion right now. And we see the estimates, 1 to 4 trillion in only a handful of years. Now, they're also talking about crypto collateral powering next generation credit programs, and on-chain identity, enabling under-collateralized lending at scale, in alignment again with what André Casterman was saying as far as the identity is concerned. Again, you can find this Visa document. They also go through 3 studies here. You can see data and insights as far as where borrowing and lending is at right now in crypto, but stablecoins beyond payments, the on-chain lending opportunity that's coming out of Visa. BNP Paribas also putting out an interesting document. And the main part I want to focus on here is just in alignment with where a lot of these estimates are taking us for what stablecoins might look like by 2028 or 2030, which is not that far away. I did that video back in May about the United States Department of the Treasury Borrowing and Advisory Committee, which essentially has like BlackRock and JP Morgan and all these entities sitting on the board there, and like bigwigs within those entities. Essentially $3 trillion, I think they said, by 2028 or 2030. You have the same thing here by BNP Paribas, and this is out of their wealth management group. So again, watch what they do and not what they say, but also watch what they're telling, kind of the wealthy of the world that are in a much different position than us, because I'm sure this stuff is probably circulated to their wealth management clients either via email or however, but found the PDF here. 2025 to 2028, they expect a rise from around 230 or 240 billion, which is where stablecoins are at right now, to about $2 trillion. So almost a 10x. And that's BNP Paribas telling you that. And I'll say it again, like I've said before, if stablecoins are at $2 trillion or $3 trillion market cap, the total crypto market cap right now is sitting around $4 trillion. Where do you think the total crypto market cap will be in 2028 or 2030 if stablecoins are $2 or $3 trillion? Certainly not going to be a $4 trillion market cap. So it'll be interesting to watch when that happens as well. And they're already talking about all this stuff. Retail specific stablecoins could serve as a quasi loyalty system, providing perks to users. Some of the biggest merchants in the world, Walmart and Amazon, are exploring the use of stablecoins. They could potentially shift their high volumes of cash and card transactions, handling them outside of the traditional financial system. Major U.S. card schemes such as Visa, who we just showed a document from, and MasterCard are already integrating stablecoins. You kind of get the trend, what's going on here, what's about to happen to the globe. We are the very, very, very small minority of people that are in crypto right now. I know that they say statistics like 8 to 10% of people are in crypto. I don't buy into that. I think that we are probably maybe 3 to 5%, especially knowledgeable people about, what's coming. And as you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you have these major, major entities showing us what's coming. I think it's going to be a cascade. I think the entire world integrates with crypto, and it's just a matter of time. I mean, you could even go down the rabbit hole of how many people in the world have a cell phone but aren't tied into the financial system. I think crypto ties, blockchain distributed ledger technology ties those people into the system, whether you like it or not. It's coming. Let alone when you pair it with artificial intelligence and all the other stuff that's coming, that's going to get pretty wild. I found this document and I found it interesting. I wanted to present it to you guys. This is newer. This is coming out of Comerica Bank. Comerica is a wealth management firm, looks like, and I tried looking them up a little bit without digging way too into the weeds here. But let me see how many users. 125 advisors. They manage over $2.3 billion in assets. They don't have a client count. More than 15,000 small businesses is what it's saying on here, just through like an AI search. But again, do your own searching. The whole purpose of that beginning part of that video is to tell you, do not listen to people, including me, about crypto. Because especially when you're new into this space, what you'll see most of the times in crypto is, and this happens all the time in XRP, and this is why, like, I'll still talk about XRP. I still hold XRP. I still like XRP, still bullish on it. And it's not that stuff is blatantly, well, it is that stuff's blatantly false, but it's because a piece of information will be taken and it will be spun under a narrative to serve a purpose. And usually the purpose is more likes, more retweets, maybe ad revenue, whatever it may be. It is very easy to put out a tweet saying XRP is going to be used for this under a broad context, taking liberties with a piece of information and get 500, 1,000, 5,000 likes, whatever. It's much harder to try to actually tell people what's happening. Maybe I should have done it the opposite way a handful of years ago when I was the one feeding all these people with this information. I still see this information repurposed. I saw the DTCC document that I found with XRP and Stellar, the patent repurposed like multiple times already. It's like, it's you just have to really be careful. I don't even care if stuff's going to get repurposed, and hey, great. But at the end of the day, like, this is why people buy $40 worth of XRP and think that $40 is going to become $640,000 in a handful of years. It's like wildly, it's acidine. But anyways, this is actually bullish, I find. And the reason behind it is this is a wealth management firm. We already saw a couple $1 billion in assets under management. This is one example. Now, if you look here in the real small print, you can probably see they're essentially, talking about gold rush fever, all these different things. Imagine being a high net worth individual reading through something like this. I think the minimum investment into this Comerica wealth management service is like $25,000. And you go down and you see the annual returns, and you see the US dollar index. You see things like gold, which is like, oh man, 46.5%. That's massive. Bitcoin, 78%. Wow. XRP destroys everything on this list. It's at 356.6% in the past year. And for those of us that are in crypto, we know that even 356% is, if you're diving into smaller cap digital assets, I mean, but still, the point I'm trying to make is, imagine a high net worth individual, and this is just one entity providing this to their clients, seeing 356.6% and being like, wow, what an opportunity. That being said, these high net worth individuals don't need 356%. They need 8 to 12%. I'm sure they would be like, oh my gosh, where do I sign up for 8% or 9%? But still, I guarantee you they see 356%, and they at least at the bare minimum think, what is that? And how do I find out more about it? The last one that I want to share with you guys today is this, and this is tokenization of assets and distributed ledger technologies and financial markets. This is potential impediments to market development and policy implications coming out of the OECD. Now, again, I'm not going to dive too deep into the weeds here, but I do want to just mention the OECD is essentially like different countries. It's like 38 countries working to promote economic growth, prosperity, and sustainable development. So you literally have organizations for economic cooperation, 38 different nations. You have an entity like that talking about tokenization as well. It's pretty clear. The writing's kind of on the wall at this point in time where this space goes. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. Is, hopefully this stuff accelerates. There's a bunch that I'm not going to get into today. You can go to genfinity.io and check out Japanese mega banks uniting to launch a yen-pegged stablecoin. Robinhood launching 500 tokenized United States stocks on Arbitrum for traders, and the European Union as well. And yeah, again, I don't know. Like, I hope that the people that are spouting just what I consider to be like totally off the deep end predictions about XRP, I hope that stuff's right. I mean, who wouldn't? But at the end of the day, like, I would be happy with a $30 or $40 XRP. I'd be happy with a $100 XRP, which I don't think is totally out of the realm of possibility. Or who knows, maybe more is. But at the end of the day, like, if you're going to talk about $1,500 per XRP, which is like, would essentially put it at more than the global GDP worth of value, it'd be really cool to see some factual things behind it. And when it comes to kind of, this type of information that is like this Russia document that I found way back in 2021, it's like, can we find something newer? If we're going to be spreading narratives, can we at least find something newer? I know the big thing now is ISO 20022 and Swift, which I'm pretty sure that ISO 24165 and ISO 20022 and all the the updates to ISO 20. I've found a lot of this stuff too, and it's just like, I'm sure it's repurposed across the board, but the whole purpose is to find the context that is actually correct. Because if you're reading tweets or if you're reading narratives, that context is always going to be meant to serve a purpose. So I don't know. Even this video, you should do your own due diligence and go find this stuff yourself. And yeah. Anyways, I think it's crazy enough. Like, that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that it's crazy enough seeing literally the Federal Reserve talking to like different crypto entities about unifying the traditional and the digital systems. You have, the Bank of England talking about embedding stablecoins into the traditional system. And, regulating tokenization. You have Visa doing the same thing. You have BNP. I mean, it's like, why do we have to invent stuff whenever there's so much bullish stuff already anyways? So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do not know how much content I'll be able to do this week. We had a death in the family. I'll try to do a couple pieces of content. I will be doing an interview. I have 2 interviews. I have one with Mondelez. Mondelez, essentially like the parent company of like Oreo, Ritz, Cadbury, all the, those brands. I'll be doing that interview tomorrow. They're a Hedera council member. Full disclaimer, Genfinity has a media relationship with Hedera, the ecosystem, but that should be a really good interview. And then on Thursday, I have an interview with UZH, so University of Zurich out of Switzerland, which should be really good. I did a prep call with the head of their blockchain kind of lab out of UZH a couple weeks ago. And it's always interesting because like sometimes it's like, how much prep work do I have to do for an interview like this? And I just really hit it off with that guy. He was super interesting to talk to. So that should be a really good interview. And then I'm working on Tata Consultancy Services, which is another Hedera council member. Hopefully I can get them on at the end of the month. And yeah, that being said, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Have a good Monday. Stay blessed. And I'll talk to you guys when I talk to you. Thanks. Bye.